Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at human intelligence, Humint, but maybe from a slightly different angle.
Yeah, it's based on the work of Marc Imperiali. We've got this description of his approach, which is, well, pretty unique.
Right, and our goal here is really to unpack that, to understand what makes his perspective stand out, and especially this idea of, sensing what others miss.
And straight away, the source makes it clear this isn't your standard intel gathering, like just collecting facts or doing interviews.
No, definitely not. It calls it a radical art, which is quite a statement.
It is, and it highlights this core shift, doesn't it? Away from the usual questioning, observing, persuading.
Towards decoding, sensing, and unveiling. That's the key difference it lays out.
Exactly. Which leads us to this idea of it being an extreme method of human analysis.
Okay, extreme method. So not just surface level stuff. What does reading invisible dynamics actually involve then?
Well, the source gives some good examples. Think about what's not said in a meeting, the undercurrents, but which might actually be, driving the outcome.
Ah, right. Or maybe what someone's CV leaves out, but their behavior kind of gives away.
Exactly. Or body language contradicting words. It's all about spotting those hidden fractures in a team, maybe unspoken loyalties or subtle deceptions.
Influence that isn't on any org chart.
Precisely. So it treats human interaction almost like a text that needs interpreting, a strategic interpretation of reality, as the source puts it.
A language of gestures, silences, stories, inconsistencies. Interesting.
Yeah, and this language, this interpretation, it's meant to act as a sort of compass.
A compass for leaders. How
Yeah.
so?
Well, to help them navigate complex situations and make decisions without, say, being subtly manipulated. It provides that behavioral insight when things are murky.
Okay, that makes sense. It sounds very analytical, decoding signals and all that. But then the source uses this phrase, embodied science of human connection. That feels different.
It does, yeah. And that's a really interesting part. It's not just about detached analysis. The source talks about engaging with rare intensity.
Rare intensity. So you have to be really present, really connected.
Seems like it. Almost tuning in so deeply, you might sense things the other person isn't even fully aware of themselves.
Wow. That connects to that other term, behavioral mutics, like helping truth surface.
Exactly like that,
Yeah.
drawing it out. And the purpose behind all this, according to the source, is being able to, whisper to decision makers.
Whisper.
Yeah, to help them cut through the noise, the flattery, and maybe reconnect with their own gut feeling, but informed by this deeper read of the situation.
So in a world just swimming in data, AI, branding,
Yeah.
this whole approach is framed as a kind of benevolent counterpower.
It brings back what the source terms sensitive intelligence, a human element, right? Something algorithms can't quite replicate.
A pathfinder for useful truths in messy human contexts. I like that. So if we boil it all down, what's the essence here? What is Imperiali's Humint based on the source?
The source really paints it as this combination, this alliance. It's trained intuition, definitely. Plus this skill of behavioral decryption, figuring out the real meaning behind what people do and say.
And courage.
And crucially, yeah, the courage to actually point out what's unseen, what people might want to keep hidden.
And the ultimate point of all this deep analysis.
It comes back to helping the decision makers, analyzing people with this profound sensitivity to better support those who have to make the tough calls.
So this deep dive really shows it's not just info gathering, it's a whole different way of understanding people, sensing beneath that surface layer.
Absolutely. It's about listening differently. Maybe listening to the silences as much as the words, seeing the hidden currents.
Yeah. Which leaves us with a thought, maybe for you listening. How might trying to consciously sense what others miss, in the way this approach describes, change how you perceive things? How you understand the people and situations around you?
Something to think about.
Definitely. Until our next deep dive.